Yeah, there's a master. There's some that are controlled by the master. These three here. These are all battery backup.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
these were just.
Okay.
We've got them in the battery backup.
Perfect, good. Let me,
Now, so the meeting is, actually, it's recording. Let me pause that.
okay.
We don't need that right now. Okay, take it away, Mark.
All right, I think we definitely have a quorum, which is good. I think we're ready to start. It's our usual cast of characters plus Glenn Stockton. Good morning, Glenn. I guess Glenn's guest today.
Morning. Sorry, I'm muting my visual because I'm eating breakfast.
All right, go make us all home. All right, so we'll go over today's agenda. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Appreciate it. So we'll start off with a quick review of the minutes from the September meeting. Email those out, so we should have them, a few copies here at Town Hall. And Glenn doesn't have a copy. So once everyone should take a quick look at those and see if there's anything that I missed. Some areas I need to expand. We didn't get the recording from last week, so I'm doing most of it. Most of it came from memory. Because once the generator kicked in, the Zoom stopped recording. But I think we got most of them.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as printed.
Second?
All right, I'll vote for accepting the minutes as is.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
Mary? Dave? How are you doing?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so they're accepted. Get those off to Grace. Second item on the agenda is just to review the recent activities with stormwater runoff and watershed erosion mitigation. So I can update us on where FERCog is. They ran out of funding for this project because they were pulled into a Freedom of Information Act project. And so, but they expect to get additional funding from the DEP very shortly, and they believe in November that they will be able to circulate the official draft of the grant. So that's all I have on that. But on the positive side, still moving ahead. Any questions on that? When I get it, I'll circulate around there. Next item is just any actions related to Wyola Inc.'s pond. And Walter has an update for us, I think.
Yeah, I was able to make contact with Emily, I think from Office of Dam Safety. After getting your email, I finally sat down. I tried calling, couldn't get a hold of anybody, so I found an email form, sent an email, got one back that she was out of the office until Friday. But first thing Friday morning, she sent me all the information that they had. Fortunately, they had categorized the dam at first as being a jurisdictional dam. So there was a phase 1 report done on it back in the report, but it was like 2015 maybe, I think. And then shortly after that, they realized that the dam, because of its size and the height of the dam and how much water it impounded, that it was no longer considered a jurisdictional dam for Office of Dam Safety. There is letters requesting that change, and so eventually they took it off their record. So basically, they do not follow anything that happens with the dam now. It's what they consider non-jurisdictional. They don't have any reports on it, any inspections. They don't follow anything that's done with it. It's below the size that they consider that they need to follow. I guess initially the lower dam, the lower eight, they divided into the upper pond and the lower pond dam. The lower one was always considered non-jurisdictional, but held back only like 2.5 acre-feet of water or something like that. Although the larger one was originally considered such, and therefore they did an inspection. We had that, but now they're not required to do any more inspections on it.
Okay.
So I did just send a copy of that inspection to Mark. Upon inspection, it was considered in poor condition, and they stated several reasons why. Basically the initial construction, the walls, the retaining walls were, not in good condition. There was animal burrows behind the walls. There was, small trees and shrubs growing on it. It wasn't well maintained. The training walls on the upstream side were just dirt. The low water level control doesn't work anymore because it's all silted in. There's no controls on it. They don't have an operations and maintenance manual. Never had it. So it was basically at that time they considered it in poor condition. That report was inspection report was done by Fussin O'Neill. Pretty extensive, 75-page report with all kinds of pictures and everything else. And I did take time to read through most of it. And yeah, their consideration was that it was in poor condition. But now, and they don't even, like I said, they don't follow it now. They've heard that the property has been sold, but they don't even track that anymore as to who owns it because it's below what they consider they have to track. So we have an initial report done in 2015, I believe, but that's all we have. And there's some other supporting letters and documents that I got from them also, but that's all they had. But they were very free to give me the information. There was no, well, what do you want it for? Or anything. They just, here you are. Here's everything we have.
So, that's everything.
Were we able to find out who owns it now?
I don't think you know who owns it yet.
The property owners own it.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was some weird divisions of all the property when they broke it up, because part of it was going to the trust down in.
Still didn't take possession of any of that. They only
No,
took.
they didn't want possession of it, but the dam itself, I think, is still with the property owners who bought 7-Eleven.
By the looks of how I read the deed and the plot plans that are on file, it's to me that the property owners own the dam. Like with what you just said, Walter, I think that's now a moot point. If it's not going to be governed by the Office of Dam Safety, I don't even know why we have to discuss this anymore. There's no one to enforce them to do anything.
Right.
So I think this discussion's done.
I kind of agree. So if something goes wrong with the dam, it is what it is.
The only thing is, whoever owns it would probably be their liability insurance would be liable,
They're liable, and if downstream property owners felt that they were damaged by whatever happened to it, they could take action, but they're not going to have a lot to hold on to if there's no updated inspection reports and the dam and the state basically feels the dam wasn't enough for us to worry about to monitor it. So
Right.
that's going to be in between two very highly paid lawyers.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments or thoughts? All right, good. You did good job, Walter. Thank you for digging into that. Yeah. It is what it is. Let's hope for the best. All right. I think that's it for the for concerns of our watershed erosion and runoff from dams for the time being. Any other comments, suggestions? Okay. Next item is boating safety on the lake. This came from a comment that Dave made a couple months ago that we were seeing a certain amount of boaters going the wrong way, not following a circular pattern, and also going a little too fast. And so the proposal was to install a sign at the boat ramp. Basically the sign would be very basic. It would just say boarding traffic is counterclockwise and speed is 30 miles an hour. I think Mary had a conversation with the Concom on this. Mary, Jackie, give us an update on your thoughts.
So on the COMCOM, Penny Jack said at one point the COMCOM and the LWAC had an agreement to only use that kiosk and not put additional signs up, and that half of it was for us and half of it was from them. But as to what we put on it, as long as it met the bylaws, they didn't have a concern about what we put on it. It's just, should we use that kiosk that's already there?
I went down to the boat ramp and I looked at that, and the kiosk is very, very sturdy, and I think we could easily just mount this a sign, the sign that we're proposing on the side of the kiosk with a couple of literally I would screw some 2x4s in and screw on the side, and it would be so here this would be the kiosk, and right next to it would be the sign of the boating safety sign. You wouldn't have to dig up the ground at all. You wouldn't have to change anything. If you're driving down with a boat or backing a boat in, you'll be very easy to see. So I think that's a possible solution as opposed to putting another sign in the ground.
Are you saying, Mark, that it would be basically extending out from the side of the kiosk, so the kiosk would be facing you this way and the sign sticks out facing the same way?
It's exactly the same way. And it'd be very easy to do, and it would be very, very visible.
Would that be okay with Concom, you think, Mary?
I don't see why not. Because mostly they were just trying to, number one, make signs accurate. Number two, keep from having a bunch of signs everywhere. So if you look at the same place and attach it to the same place, I think that would be fine.
Do we want to have something on this sign about, there was all of those issues of like weeds being transferred from one lake to another and so forth, and people washing their boats and all that.
I believe
not
that's already
voters,
down there.
Okay, that's fine as an additional sign. That's my question.
And I have them if we need to put them down there.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Good.
There actually is a sign that has about boat cleaning, and they're already it's about 100 yards up the road, running away, and so it's not attached to anything, but the sign is still there leaning against the tree. I guess we could try.
Mark, you froze. Looks like we've lost the town hall.
Oh, dear.
Oh dear.
The town hall's gone down.
Town hall has gone down. God bless Zoom.
I'm not rescuing them today.
I mean, I can see my hand moving here, but not on the screen over there.
No.
So I guess, you know what I mean? That's a first.
Is that the whole generator kicking on thing?
I don't know. I thought that was supposed to be well,
That was
Look
supposed,
at Glenn Stockton is the host now. It's just
right.
I think it froze with Eric's 10-foot tall picture.
It
Yeah.
must be. I broke the system. It just couldn't stand it.
Let's see if he's going to try to pop us back in.
Can I ask a question
Seemed to
about
work.
the sign?
Yeah.
I think there's kind of an unwritten rule about boats not moving at pace until 8 o'clock in the morning, but I don't know that that's on the sign. Is that right?
I don't think that is on the
Okay.
sign, Glenn. That is part of the bylaws, and that office, those bylaws also get encompassed and wrapped up into the town's noise bylaws.
So
It's-
the sign that's on the kiosk now has all of the boat safety rules on it. It's small and it's inside the kiosk, but it has, what the speed is on the off hours, and all of that safety stuff is all on that sign that's currently there.
Right, but going at pace before 8 o'clock, I don't think is clearly delineated. The only reason I care is I go rowing in the morning, and if someone is out at 7, then I'm rowing through their wake. That's all. So it's purely personal.
So maybe the sign should say something about speed limit 30 miles per hour between the following hours or whatever. Does that make sense?
It does say it. I'm not, the whole sign says Lake Wyola's safety, and it has the rules and regulations from the bylaw on it. I'm not sure anybody reads it. It's kind of inside the kiosk there. And to your point, I'm not sure it's there, but I'm not sure people look at it.
Well, that
And I
was
think
kind of the whole point why I brought up the discussion. It was I felt that maybe it would be time to update the sign. The more clear we are about our rules.
Yeah.
This is a COA issue for me, especially with some of the events that recently have happened out of the local lakes. I'm going to point out to Lake Norman. So,
Okay, I think it's been a while since I read the sign, but I think it says dawn to dusk.
yeah, and that's generally the kind of that's how it's been framed. But like I said, Glenn, there are town bylaws regarding noise, which also would, a power boat at that time in the morning is going to break that decibel level. So there are multiple options that you could pursue there to. Of course, the other thing you're going to do is you're going to go knock on the door of the person who's doing that and say, "Hey, do you know the rules?"
Right.
Which is what I like.
Right. Right. But I mean, if someone is bringing their boat in on the weekend and they
I would say the majority of the boats that are doing that are not your day boaters. That are I'm here, I own property, and I want to water ski now because the water is flat.
Right. And typically, I mean, 99% of the time they're waiting until 8 a.m., which is great for me.
And I agree. Generally, they do. Especially the more avid water skiers. I know they respect that rule. So
Right.
You're right.
Just since you were
bylaw says 5 miles sunset to sunrise.
right.
That is what it says.
right.
Okay. I was just thinking, since you were talking about updating the sign, that would be a personal preference.
We'll see if we can get into the rest of the group. We'll find out. I'm wondering if, does anybody, I just emailed them. Has anybody got his cell phone number?
Can you,
Up.
can you just hand me my phone there?
I don't think I do.
use my phone anymore for whatever reason.
Let me just go look in the other room up. That begs the question, where's my cell phone?
Right.
Story of my life.
Mary, you muted.
Yeah, I don't have a phone number.
You don't have his number?
No. Mark Rivers.
Let's see.
I had it in my,
Good news is I found my phone, Mark.
oh, I see Catherine now.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow I just admitted her. So
So-
they're in the waiting room. I'm not sure how I got to be the administrator, but there it is.
Good question. Good question.
So is there anybody
love
else that you could admit?
They haven't popped up on my screen.
Oh, I
Um,
did see that. I remember the message went across. Glenn Stockton is now your host.
really?
So Catherine, are you guys up and running there?
No, we are. Can you hear us?
Your video.
Yes, but
We can't see you, though.
Your video.
We can only hear Catherine.
Oh, that means the owl isn't.
Can you
Well,
go
I mean,
over, turn the video on?
Yeah, turn your video on, Captain.
Where?
Off the upper right-hand corner.
You should be able to do it down below.
Yeah, down below.
So start video to the left, keep going, keep going.
Oh,
You
okay.
hear them all now, so.
Mhm.
Oh, there's the circle of death. We're getting some. Oh, there we go.
There we are.
Okay, and that
Just-
made the.
Just
Yeah,
as a
sorry.
point of order, I'd like to relinquish the administration of this Zoom. Somehow I am in charge.
I think what you have to do is cover on your name there, and you can pass off the hosting to somebody else.
Okay. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You guys can go on with your meeting. I'll try and figure it out.
Well, we thought we had our network problems figured out, like, UPS and, on the router, but it wasn't enough.
It was an uninterruptible power supply.
All right, so, this is back up. Back up here, we're talking about the safety, voting safety sign. I think we're all set to go. We can actually have the sign made at any time. And I'll attach to the kiosk. Everyone's okay with that.
You want to do it like now, before spring?
Yeah. Let's see, why not?
Okay.
Whatever's convenient, we could do it. Does anyone see any reason not to do it now? I mean, the signs will last for years and years and years.
Okay.
Can I just suggest that the sign say speed limit is 30 miles an hour dawn to dusk, which I believe, as we were discussing when we were missing you guys, that's the bylaw. Just add the words dawn to dusk. Or
Actually,
whatever.
actually, I would prefer 8 a.m. to dusk.
My concern there is that's not how the bylaw reads.
Right.
So
Okay.
we would have- And the bylaws were approved by the town of Shutesbury at an annual meeting. So change the
Right.
bylaws would have to go through that process.
Got it.
Yeah, if you're gonna pin something different, correct?
Right. Any change in the language.
Okay.
But it could say 5 miles sunset to sunrise on the sign we're making.
And that's in accordance with the state law, voting laws, so.
Okay.
I think the idea here is to keep it as simple as possible. So everybody knows there's a speed limit, and everybody knows you just can't drive like a normal lake anywhere you want.
Right, the more messages we get on this, the less it's going to be, it's going to get through.
Technically, all these things are, all this information is already in the sign that's in the kiosk, but it's so small that no one ever reads it. So the intent here is to get, a basic message, hit them over the head with it. If that's okay with everybody.
Yep.
So what are you saying, Mark? We're going to stick with the language we have, and we're going to add more stuff.
Well,
Let's stick with the language we have.
is everybody okay with that?
Do you want to put, do you want to just add the word daytime there? 30 miles an hour daytime?
My preference is not, but I'm open to what the committee wants.
I'm trying to get a feeling here for how big the sign is. 24 high, I suppose, and 18 wide.
So it's not a huge sign.
It's not huge. You know what? I can, mock it up and stuff, and we'll figure it out. But I like keeping it simple.
I'm all for keeping it simple, but I think dawn to dusk is not that complicated. That's my view. It doesn't complicate,
Well, yeah, I mean,
a lot.
not complicated, just like more lines,
Yeah, the terms in the bylaws is sunset to sunrise.
If I could just ask, there's a noise ordinance, is that right? That you can't make, there's a decibel level that was mentioned before 8 o'clock. Is that right?
That is right. That would include chainsaws, leaf blowers, all that crap.
So it wouldn't.
Before 7.
Before 7.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good to know.
I promise never to mow my lawn before 7 a.m.
That's pretty easy.
I got all my neighbors actual rakes for Christmas last year in an effort to get them to turn off their leaf blowers.
Did it work?
No.
You know what's relatively silent is electric leaf blowers. Just have to say, I got one of those a while back, and it's pretty good and pretty quiet.
Put that on your Christmas list, Dave.
That's right. Get your neighbors each one of those, and then they'll do something about it.
So I'm not sure how we want to proceed here. We have proposal to add verbiage to the side, the post sign. Dawn to dusk. You have to vote on it, or
How about this? I will mock some up with these various suggestions, and we can look at them again next week.
I think that's a great idea.
all right.
Just kick it down the road.
That's correct.
All right.
Nothing like kicking the can down the road.
We have plenty of time.
All right, sounds good. So, up here.
I don't think you'll need to do that. The owls, you can talk, the owls shouldn't pick you up.
Oh, I'm just looking for the camera.
Oh, here, there's one right here. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. All right, so for the next meeting, Captain will lock it up, and I'll email it around, and Captain will print it out in the 8.5 by 11 format, and see what you think. And, any other issues about boating safety on the lake? We have to suck it up. Okay, great. So going on to the next agenda item is safety access to the dam. I know I'm going to turn it over to Eric. This was discussed at a couple of select board meetings. Eric, Eric sent me some stuff which I haven't circulated yet, but Eric, can you kind of just give us an update of where things are from the select board's perspective?
Sure. We did put this on the agenda at the last select board meeting. And at the select board meeting, we decided to create like an informal, we're not, you know, making this a formal committee, but just sort of a group to advise the select board about what to do. If anything, that could include nothing, I suppose. I think there was a general sense at that select board meeting that there were real issues here that were articulated in that letter from John and Howie last year. And from talking to Kristen, the police chief and so forth, there are some real issues that have to be dealt with. And the question really is how to deal with them, especially in a way, how to deal with them that, you know, works for the neighbors and doesn't destroy the beauty of the dam and so forth. So the idea was to have a committee, an informal committee, to meet a couple of times just to come up with ideas for what could be done. There are sort of two issues. One is the actual dam safety. Which again, this is articulated in the letter, which if I think everyone on the committee got it, probably Glenn, you may not have that letter, but there was a letter that Howie and John wrote last July, which is very articulate about all the issues that have happened on the dam. The other issue is that little road to, if you're looking at the dam, to the right of the dam that Howie and John can use, the dam keepers can use to get to the dam, is actually not town land. It's, and correct me if I don't know the name, I think it's Zepparelli's or something. I can't, somebody will have to, what is it?
Zavarua.
How do you spell that?
Zaperuha.
Zaperuha.
E as in Victor. Zaveruha.
Oh, via Vepura.
Zavarua. Yes.
Vepura. Anyway, so there are those folks own the land, and they have allowed, they've just for goodwill basically have allowed the town to have the dam use that as access to the dam. That's obviously sort of a goodwill of the neighbors solution that didn't seem to the select board like a real good way to be looking at things down the road. So either an easement, if we could work out something with them, or if the town could purchase that land, if we could work that out with them. This is all obviously I'm talking about options that haven't been figured out. Anyway, that problem has to be solved as well. So I think the idea would be to try to have a group of people who would probably include the abutters to the dam, and also people maybe, I don't know if we want to, I mean, I would certainly think John or Howie should be on this committee as the dam keepers if they're up for it. It was not really articulated what the committee should be made up of, except that it should include a cross section of the town, quote unquote. I don't think we want to have a huge committee. I don't know, I guess thoughts as much as anything else. Do we want to have an official representative from the Lake Wyola advisory committee, which we could have? That's a situation.
So it sounds like we're looking to form the committee and decide who's going to be on it at this point.
Yeah, so we're looking to put that committee together, and I think it would include Glenn if he's up for it, and someone from the I'll say Vapor, whatever the name. I'll have to find out the name, obviously, Vapor or whatever it is. I'm sorry to butcher their name, as well as anyone else. John and/or Howie, I think, would be very valuable just because they're very knowledgeable about the dam. And anyone else who's interested, frankly. So,
Can I ask what the ultimate goal of this committee would be, are we trying to get to a situation where the dam is not used for recreational purposes anymore?
I think we're trying to get, that would be my sense of it. I'm not, again, we haven't really made that decision yet, but that would be my sense of it.
I mean,
And I
if
think
if that were the case, Eric, wouldn't it be just simply to post it and put and establish $1,000 fine, subject to a $1,000 fine, and let that process police itself?
that may be the answer. We're not here to make the answer right now, but it's a good idea. That's an idea.
But,
Maybe you should be on the committee.
What the ultimate goal is, I mean, and that's it, then I was just, if we're going to establish committee, I'm assuming they're going to have a purpose already in place for them already.
The purpose of that committee is to advise a select board on what we should do. So the select board is basically, will make a decision based on what the committee tells them to do, as an idea.
Thank you for the clarification, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is, for example, the question comes up about fencing and so forth, that kind of thing, and I'm not sure that. Well, you may have a very good solution there, David, but I believe we have to have a town. I think that would have to be a town, bylaw or whatever that said $1,000 fine or whatever it is, or firstborn child or whatever we want to say.
Scaring the hell out of people does work.
Right. That may be the answer. That may in fact be the answer. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to set up something that as much as possible is offensive to the neighbors, for example. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that is the answer.
Okay.
But this committee will determine that answer, I guess. Is what I'm getting at.
Yep.
So I don't know, I guess the question I would ask right now is, I mean, Glenn, are you up for being on that group of, because I was sort of assigned to get
that's
this
why I'm
group
here.
together.
Yes.
Perfect. And then do we want to have anybody else? Do we want to have somebody? I would love to have John and or Howie. Are they still there in the room? I can't, they're not showing on my screen here.
Yeah, we'll participate.
Okay, cool.
Should the police?
The police would be somebody. And Kristen has said she would be on the committee. I didn't mention that, but that's a good point.
Okay.
That sounds like a perfect group right there.
The only other thing I would add would be that mystery neighbor is there.
The other
I would
abutter?
think the other abutter should be on there as well.
Also,
And
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that maybe, I think the crew pack should definitely be there. They've owned that property for eons. And they are definitely heavily affected by that. They've had some serious issues.
I'm sorry. So you're talking about someone in addition to the
Yeah, the other abutter on the other side, the Klupats.
On Lakeview.
Okay. Can maybe Mark can do it? Can someone just email me with a list of who those people are that you want on the committee, and I'll call them up if I know how to, or email them or whatever.
I'll get that to you, Eric.
That'd be great.
Should the historical society be a part of this, or historical commission?
Yes.
I would say no. I mean, this is a safety issue that we're dealing with here. No.
Okay.
I mean,
Dustin Klupak is who you want to get a hold of. That would be the name I would give. He would probably be the one that would represent the family.
okay. So Catherine, if you can send that to me, I'll try to put together. Actually, how should we do this? I'd like to get Glenn. I'd love to get your email address and stuff like that.
Okay. Likewise, I don't have yours either, so I can blurt it out over Zoom.
Sure, blurt it away.
Okay, G Stock 722 at gmail.com.
Okay. I'm just Eric Stalker at shootspray.org for this purpose.
Okay, great. Eric, no period, Eric Stalker, one word.
Stalker, Stocker. Yes, one word. Yep.
That's Shootspray.
Yep. Shootspray.org.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. And other than that, I have nothing to report unless anyone has anything they want to throw into this discussion while we have it on the agenda here.
Okay, I think we're all set. I think that's a good plan here.
Right. I guess, do I have Howie and Glenn? Do I have your address as well?
My mail address?
I'm not Glenn. I'm sorry, Howie and John.
Yeah, they're in the emails I sort of have the agenda now.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, great. All right, thanks. I'll try to get this together next week or so. Try to get together our first little gathering, and maybe it'll be the only gathering. I mean, maybe we'll come up with David's idea, and that'll be the end of the deal. So there we go.
Okay, great. Next item. So, someone's okay with that? Next item is just an update on dam repairs.
I have not talked to Morris, so.
So for everyone's just carry out the speed, Morris Root did an inspection probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's getting close to probably time to do the next inspection. It hasn't got the inspection report done.
And there are a couple of maintenance items that the dam needs that we were just hoping that Morris would give us guidance, how to reboard at the top of the dam, how to fix the leak in the valve. But that hasn't happened yet. So the question is we're kind of stuck in the water without Morris. And in my mind, maybe we should be, looking for someone else to kind of do the next dam inspection and give us and help us out with this. I sent a note to the Office of Dam Safety. I should have called them. I just sent them an email to see if they had a list of people who do this kind of work. I do know that Boston O'Neill does it. There are engineering companies who do it, most individuals. I guess the question is, do we just wait a while longer and see if Morris comes through, or do we start pursuing another resource?
I can try giving him another call and put it blank. I mean, I think him and I have a well enough established relationship that I can point blank ask him, is he interested in doing this anymore, or would he be happy if we just had somebody else do it?
That's a great idea.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a nice guy and all that, but it just seems like we're always getting put off and put off and put off and put off. Here it is. I mean, the inspection, even Office of Dam Safety is after him, and the inspection, because they know it's him that's not doing it, it's not us. And, it just seems to keep going and going and going. He is one person doing a lot of work where someone like Boston O'Neill has many people doing it. So I think they can handle doing a lot more work. And it might be time to just say, this is not like this is the first time it's happened before us. This is kind of like an ongoing thing.
From the beginning.
From the day one, right? So, I mean, he's a good guy, he does good work. It's just, it takes so long. We're almost going to be ready for another inspection, and we haven't got the report written from the last one. That kind of happened the last time too. So, I think it might be time to look and see if there's somebody else out there that would do it.
Is the next inspection due 2020, fall 23 or sometime in 23?
I'll have to look and see just when this one was done. If it was done in 21 or if it was done in 20. I kind of believe it might have been done in 20, but field inspections on what the schedule is and find out when it was actually due.
I guess from my perspective, I'm more concerned about the maintenance needs, so that the.
Right. And I'll see if he, again, he had set up a date once, set up a date a second time to come down, and both times were put off. I mean, granted, he's coming along further. He's up in upstate New York now, so his travel to here is twice as long as it was before. So, he's not going to set time aside, drive all the way down here for half hour, hour, and drive back. He's going to try to put that in conjunction with other projects and things that he was doing, and that just never happened. So,
If he's based in upstate New York, I would get someone. We should try to get someone local, local if that's a
I
word.
know. Like what Mark was saying is, though, he had talked about the repairs that needed to be done. Maybe possibly will give us another idea if they might come out and just say, yeah, here, this is the stuff you should be able to do, and you can do this, but this is how we'd like to see it done. I don't know. I'll give Morris one more shot. We'll call him, but I'll be really honest with him that if he can't do this, we'll have to look for somebody else because we can't keep putting it off. See what he said. So.
Good. I think that's a fair approach. Any other comments or on those issues? That's all. We'll do nothing until the next meeting, then we'll see what his response is.
And I promise I will make an effort to get a phone.
Okay. Good. I think we hit all the agenda items. I feel like we're missing something, but any other items that anyone wants to bring up?
Just an update on the culvert project, I believe, and Glenn may confirm this. I believe that Verizon has finally done its duty and moved that pole. So I think next fall there actually will be a culvert project happening there. I think. I'm not going to promise
all
that.
the materials, the box culverts, all the bases, and everything else to do the project is sitting out behind the fire station. So it's here in town.
And I would just quickly mention that the one reason to get this committee that we were talking about earlier going would be if, in fact, any kind of fencing was done up on the road. I'm not suggesting this will happen, but if it were to happen, it might want to happen at the same time that culvert project happened, or at least we don't want the culvert project to put up a guardrail and then we decide later on, oh, we want to have a fence there, and then we tear the guardrail down. We don't want that to happen. So that's all. I just throw that out there.
All right, great. Anything else?
Could we just do a little test here? John Kinder, could you talk like loud and see if this owl turns on?
Okay, I think the pole is still there. The line has been moved.
Right.
Our works fine.
Yeah.
Did anybody see
That's-
John now on the screen? I
Yeah,
didn't
he
see
was
him.
little. He was
Oh,
looking in this
okay.
direction
You
here.
know what? I had put that yoga mat there on purpose.
Okay.
And when I went back to get the computer, I failed to notice that it was gone. It doesn't work on the bare table, I don't think.
Okay, good to know. I was tidying things up, but I took him that away. That's my fault. I think, anything else?
I move you, Chair.
Second,
All right, thank you, everybody for joining us.
thank
today.
you.
We'll see you next month. I may not be here, but I'll be on the meeting. I didn't know where I traveled, but I'll be on the meeting. So I'll know what's going on.
Oh, boy.
They were close to Thanksgiving. What's the date of next meeting? And there's that Thanksgiving presenting problems. So the next meeting would be scheduled technically for the 19th. Is that okay with everybody?
No, it's better than the next week because the next week is Thanksgiving.
Yes. So our next meeting will be on Saturday the 19th. There'll be a Zoom meeting and at the town hall.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, here we go.